have Everett Goldsmith from Harvest Assembly of God. On deck, we have Caleb Rivera from City Church of Orlando. And now presenting, we have Chloe Ramos from Journey Church.
Hi, my name is Chloe Ramos. I go to Journey Church. The title of my sermon today is Focused Faith. And the verses I'm going to be using is Matthew 14:26 through 31 and Matthew 17:20. Have you ever been doing something and your mind just drifts away? That happens to me a lot. I will be in a conversation or in the car or doing schoolwork, and my mind will go to faraway places. My mind can drift into the future and what I want it to bring, or it can go to a place I desire to be, like Disney, because let's be real, Disney is better than doing schoolwork. But then you come back to reality, and you almost lose all sense of time. How long have I been daydreaming? What is going on right now? Losing focus can cause you to stray from the task that is in front of you, or it can cause you to miss the things that are pressing at that time. No one knows this more than Peter. Peter lost focus at the worst possible time in Matthew 14:26 through 31. But when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were terrified and said, "It is a ghost," and they cried out in fear. But immediately Jesus spoke to them, saying, "Take heart, it is I, do not be afraid." And Peter answered him, "Lord, if it is really you, command me to come to you on the water." He said, "Come." So Peter got out of the boat and walked on the water and came to Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, "Lord, save me." Jesus immediately reached out and took hold of him, saying to him, "O you of little faith, why did you doubt?" In this verse we see Peter, and when we think of the story, I always seem to think first, wow, Peter really walked on water. And I knew that part of the story was that he began to sink. But what I noticed after reading this over and over is the fact that yes, Peter walked on water, but the reason why he started to sink was because he took his eyes off Jesus.
Wow. Yeah.
And I love Jesus' response to this, because as soon as Peter cries out for Jesus to help him, Jesus pulls him back up. And I take comfort in knowing that Jesus can lift us back up, even though we take our eyes off of him.
Yeah.
And then Jesus says something very interesting. He says, "O you of little faith, why did you doubt?" But what's peculiar about Jesus saying this is that in Matthew 17:20, he says, "Truly I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you." It makes me wonder why Jesus reprimanded Peter because he had little faith, but also he told the disciples that small faith was all you needed.
That's good.
So is there a difference between little faith and small faith?
Yeah. Yeah.
You see, the difference between little faith and small faith is that little faith is built and focused on us humans, whether it's our circumstances, our story, our strengths, or our weaknesses, or just ourselves in general. Little faith starts with me, whereas small faith is built and focused on Jesus. Small faith is small in size, but not in quality, because it is looking at Jesus.
That's good. Come on.
Small faith has the ability to grow. That's why Jesus uses the mustard seed as the example, because it starts small, but ends big.
Yeah.
So you see, it's all about perspective and where we shift the focus of our faith. Little faith focuses outwardly, but small faith focuses on Jesus. If you look up the actual definition of faith, it means putting all our beliefs and trust in God, which lines up perfectly with faith as small as a mustard seed. Little faith leads us to sinking like Peter, but small faith gives us the ability to walk on water.
Yeah.
So maybe you're feeling alone, or lonely, or rejected. Keep your focus on Jesus. Or you feel like you are not as smart, or talented, or brave, or pretty, or popular as someone else. I want to remind you to keep your focus on Jesus. To have faith that He is in control of your life. Have faith that He can take the bad circumstances and turn them into something good for His benefit. I encourage you to read your Bible daily to build your faith, to pray throughout the day to build your faith. We can thank God when we wake up just for being alive, or we can show it in our actions, even in the smallest act of kindness. Because little things like that can grow your faith bigger than you can ever imagine. So have small faith. Keep your eyes on Jesus, and He can build us up. Thank you.
Yeah!